You know, when you're working the dream, the struggle is oh so real. You have to be determined. You have to work hard. You need to be compassionate, set goals, and be timely. Stay focused and reach high. You need all this and the Lord to come together to make you a better person while you're working the dream.
Hello and welcome to Working the Dream. I'm your host, Derek Kelly, and today we're going to share insights into how exposure, that is showcasing your personal brand, affects your career and personal success. Now, exposure is who knows you and who knows you positively. So let's recap why this is important. Our acronym for career success is PIES, P-I-E-S. P is for performance. You must be a top-notch performer to be considered of value to your team. I is for image. Your personal brand, your image, should reflect the accepted image of your company. And E is for exposure. How many people know you and know you positively? And S is for spirituality. Okay, so you're on time every day. You keep your head down and you do your work. And when your boss asks you to do something, you do it, no questions asked. You're a team player. You help your coworkers when they ask for it, sometimes even when they don't. When you see there's something to be done, you jump right in and you do it because that's just the kind of person that you are. Now, surely with all of these good work habits, you're going to be recognized for your dedication. There's no way that they can overlook you for expanded responsibilities, right? When they're expanding the division, you'll be noticed, right? I mean, you've already proven you're a hard worker. I mean, hard work is the key to climbing the organizational ladder, right? Well, not entirely. You see, hard work is expected, but most companies are getting that pretty much from all of their workers anyway. In today's work world, working hard and doing what you're asked is expected. In fact, it's the only way to keep your job. So working hard and being a team player and trying to make the workplace productive, it's kind of normal behavior for a good employee. It's what's expected out of you by your management team. Now you might say, I exhibit professional behavior, I say the right things, and I do the right things, and that's still the standard expectation of all employees. Promotion and recognition usually lands on the people who have found a way to capitalize on their exposure to influential people and the right opportunities. I've heard some people say, often with disdain in their voice, well, it's not what you do, it's who you know. Let me add an emphatic, you're absolutely correct to that one. The better way to phrase that might be, you need to network as effectively as you work for people to be aware of your contribution to the organization. The hard work is all you need axiom was coined years ago when we pretty much were in an agricultural industrial society. In today's complex world of tangled business relationships, that is not the only ingredient for success. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are a blacksmith. You do your best work providing shoes for horses. Well, the more horses that you make shoes for, the more revenue you make and the more successful you are as a blacksmith. Let's say you were a farmer. The more acreage you sowed with seeds for crops, the bigger your harvest. The more crops you harvested, the more crops you could take to market. The more crops you took to market, the more money that you would make. This would make you more successful. The impact of relationships, while important back then, was still less important than the actual physical labor you put into your work. In today's work world, most of us are not taking crops to market or shodding horses. So it takes a little more than just hard work to be successful. Your relationship with your boss, peers, and reports will be critical to your success in the workplace. So just telling someone to keep their head down and work hard is not the complete formula for career success. Let me ask you a question. it's perfectly acceptable for you to talk back to the screen on this one. You ready? Okay, here it goes. Who knows you and knows you positively in your organization? Now, how you are known determines what assignments you're going to get, what special projects you'll be invited to participate in. The projects and assignments you work on determine who actually sees your work. And the people that see your work determine your value to the company, and your value to the company determines the success that you're going to enjoy in your organization. If you are a known force on your team, then look out, world, here you come. Let's watch as our friend Cassie learns some lessons.
They're holding me back, y'all. Look, I didn't spend $80,000 on a degree to just sit at a desk and stamp checks all day. I'd say they are definitely underutilizing my talents. And then there's this company party that I guess we're all supposed to go to. I am not trying to see these people after 5 o'clock. I see enough of them throughout the day. Let's just say they're not exactly my type of people. Anyway, that's the Cassie rant for the day. Don't forget to like the video and spread the word.
Hey, Cassie.
Oh, hey, Ron. Didn't see you there.
Yeah, you were quite engrossed in your rant. I really enjoy your channel, by the way.
Thanks. It's a good creative outlet.
I bet. My outlet's video games, but you have to be careful, though.
Careful. Why would you say that?
Because you never know who's watching online.
There is nobody from here watching me online. Trust me, I am not that important.
Yeah, tell that to all those employees that lost their job as a result of their rants online. You have to be really careful when you're posting these rants. You want to make sure that you're not saying anything that will negatively affect the company or yourself. You have to establish and protect your professional brand.
See, that's it. I have a brand, and I'm not going to become fake just to climb my way up the ladder here.
Again, you're missing the point. You want to make sure that you're seen in a positive light by the right people so that you can advance into the opportunity that you feel you deserve. Are you going to the party?
No, I'm not going to the party.
Have you ever been to the company party?
No, and I don't plan on it.
What if I told you that by going to that party, you might have the opportunity to advance into the position that you feel you deserve?
Really? Let's hear it.
Okay, so this is the plan. You go home, you get dressed, you want to put something on that's modest yet stunning. But the goal's not to be super sexy or anything like that. You just don't want to be talked about on Monday for being the worst dress. Okay? Then when you see Mr. Martin and me over there, you know, wherever we'll be in the party, doesn't matter what location, walk over there in the general vicinity and I will call you over and introduce you to him. He's the CEO of the company.
And I'm just supposed to walk right up and start talking with you guys.
I'm going to introduce you. That's why we're going to play it this way. The same exact thing happened earlier on in my career, and that's how I got into the position that I'm in now.
So you're real cool with Mr. Martin?
Well, he's had me work on several projects in the past, so we've definitely established a good rapport.
All right, if you say so, I'll be there. You gonna be there?
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay. So I got an update, crew. You remember that party that my friend Ron talked me into going to for the company? I am so glad that he did. It's been about 2 weeks since that party, and people still remember my name, and they comment all the time about the good work that I do around here. And I got approached by management for a special project. Let's just say that I am on my way up. Watch out, y'all. Remember to like the video and spread the word.
I take it you're satisfied with the results?
Oh my goodness, yes. Thank you, Ron.
No problem. Remember, branding is everything.
Okay, what do we learn about how Cassie is viewed? Now, she's definitely getting some exposure, but is it positive or negative? Now, here's some tips that you can use to get positive exposure in your organization. Volunteer for special projects. Unless you're in a very small company, there's a wealth of action taking place outside of your desk, cubicle, department, and floor. And chances are the people that are making decisions aren't sitting directly across from you. Look for special projects that you can be a part of. It's a great way to get your name, your skills, your ideas, your quality performance out in front of people who can help you make vertical and horizontal career moves. Most people at work will be focusing on their own work universe. So some may or may not know who you are or where you are a benefit to the organization. Now, when you work on special projects with others, you usually can find a way to establish them in your own personal network. Connect with people outside of your normal work network. There are many benefits to networking, but you have to remember that we are dealing with people. Keep that in mind. Going out with a what can I get attitude is going to sink your efforts before you begin. But of course, you need to know what return you're going to get before you invest. So here's what you can expect. Friendship benefits. Do not overlook the simple benefit of having friends in the business with no strings attached. It's a good feeling to know someone has our back, that we have people who are there for us. It can be lonely when you work alone with only the light from your own computer screen to keep you company. Having someone who understands is extremely valuable on a psychological and emotional level. Your friends can chat to keep you motivated and cheery. They're a sounding board for ideas. They'll listen to you moan when you need it. When several of my professional friends and I get together, when we're talking, time goes by so fast. I'm not always sure if we actually solve the world's problems, but those conversations are something I really look forward to. Your personal network can help when you're in a strange town. Sometimes it's nice to have company for dinner when you're on the road. I mean, I'm blessed to have friends that I can call in quite a few cities. I also have friends that I can share situations with who will kind of straight up let me know whether or not I'm on or off base with an idea or a situation. My point is, no matter how smart or talented you are, people need people. Now, opportunities. The most significant monetary benefit my network has brought me is the opportunity I have been exposed to. If you're not getting enough opportunities, then you need to build your network. Opportunities like joint ventures, client leads, partnerships, speaking and writing gigs, businesses where the assets are bought and sold, you name it. Now, if you thought the want ads hold the best jobs, let me share an inside secret. All the best opportunities are shared person to person in back channels. Everything from prime domain sales to employment opportunities to projects that are coming out. If two people are equally qualified, the nod is going to go to who you know, like, and trust the most. And sometimes this happens even when the person is less qualified. This one networking benefit alone has to be worth an astronomical amount. Now, there are two problems that stop people from thinking of this benefit. First, people do not give credit to their network when opportunities arise. They either think, of course I got this opportunity, I'm awesome. To paraphrase a very, very wise man, pride goes before a big smacking faceplant in wet cement. That's a paraphrase. Bad networking leads to a lack of opportunity and can actually damage your ability to attract the best opportunities. It is better for nobody to know who you are rather than to be known as a jerk. The third benefit is advice. We all like to give friends advice, and sometimes they even ask for it. We rely on our networks to advise us and keep us on track, and we give back to our networks in return. Give a lot, and you have a lot of credit in the bank when you need to make a withdrawal. The better your network, the more knowledge you can tap into. There are formal and informal advice channels like consulting swaps or mastermind groups. I'm doing a consulting swap with a development expert. She's sharing her expertise in enterprise development, and I'm helping her with presentation coaching. Masterminds are where a group of people with common goals and values get together to push each other and advise each other. A fourth benefit is assistance. I've heard that the definition of a friend is someone who will help you move your house with no notice and no expectation of payment. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think mutual help is definitely part of the definition. And one of the ways that you can get benefit from networking is promotion, giving you a boost in your traffic, your sales, your reputation, your opportunities. Another benefit of networking is building a strong community, conversational community, where a topic can come up and everyone is involved and you're getting input from different places. Introductions is a benefit because with a good community, you can be connected to people who you'd like to meet or you just think they're awesome. These folks often can help you get out of a hole when you goof up, or have your back when somebody is attacking. Another benefit is positive influence. You become who you associate with. This works in the negative, as any parent will tell you as they look at the friends that their kids are hanging out with. But it also works in the positive. If you surround yourself with the right people, then the attitudes and habits and worldview and the associations of these folks will rub off too. The tribe you select will have a profound impact on your work and your life. So choose well. In summary, there's a danger that some people will approach networking with a gimme frame of mind. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. My hope is that you will see that while the impact might not be immediate, the compound effects of networking are significant and long-lasting. I want you to understand that every single new friend or contact you make is worth their weight in gold. It's also important that you attend those optional meetings and events. Meetings, especially boring meetings, can be the bane of existence for any busy professional, but they can also be a good place to show your face with higher-up required attendees. So show up, listen, contribute, introduce yourself. Not only are you increasing your visibility, but you're showing that you're interested and getting firsthand experience on how things work outside of your office or cube. Showing up to social events can be a challenge, but it can also be beneficial. I remember one evening I asked a coworker of mine, was she stopping by the evening mixer that the executives were putting on at a nearby restaurant downtown. She said with an attitude face, "I see these people all day. I do not want to see them after work." Now, here's what she didn't think about. You will have access to people you ordinarily wouldn't be able to see during the average workday. I mean, when can I walk up to the executive vice president's office and have a conversation? However, it's not a bad thing that he knows who I am. You must understand that event exposure should be well managed. Now, they serve alcohol at these things, but that's not a safe bet. Let me share a story. Many years ago, I worked with a gentleman named Chad, and Chad was a brilliant young man. He was smart. He was on his way up on the organization. He was the kind of guy we were all jealous of. So the regional manager was having this big soiree, this big spread out at their house. And the house was gorgeous. So we drove out, it was in the suburbs, beautiful gated community, and we oohed and ah up to this gorgeous house. And then when we got inside, of course, the servers had drinks and they were making people feel welcome. Well, I had a 7-Up. Anyway, my buddy Chad, who was the heir apparent to be successful in this organization, he began to knock them back. And he was getting a little snookered. Well, in one of the side rooms, there was this exquisite, gorgeous Persian rug that the regional manager was so proud of. I kind of looked at the rug on the floor. I mean, I'm not stepping on a rug when I find out how many thousands of dollars it cost to buy the thing. So we looked at it. It was like the Mona Lisa on the ground. Well, my buddy Chad, after he had so many drinks, he kind of forgot where he was, and he walked on the rug. I'm blown away. But that wasn't the best part of the story. See, Chad had so many drinks that he started feeling woozy and a bit nauseous. You figured it out? Yeah, he threw up on the regional manager's exquisite Persian rug. Now, sadly, we laughed back then. In fact, all the way home, we laughed at work the next week. But here's the real sadness in that story. Chad never, ever, ever got promoted again. You see, the senior team looked at that behavior and said, how can we trust him with a division full of people? How can we trust him with a multi-million-dollar budget and expect him to use good judgment when in a smaller social situation, he was so far off base? We really are being viewed all the time, even in networking situations. Now, I had a mentor who was a vice president. And one evening I was talking to him, and there was a social function that the higher-ups were giving, and I kind of knew that I should go, but I didn't want to go. I said, man, I really don't want to go. And he was a vice president, so he taught me a few things. He says, Eric, you're really not that important once you get there, but you need to make an appearance. They need to know that you were there in support of their program. I said, okay. He said, this evening I'll meet you there and I'm going to teach you how to make a 5-minute appearance seem like you were there all night. I said, really? I'll be able to get out and go do what I want to do? He said, absolutely. So later that evening, he met me in the hallway of this hotel ballroom outside of where the big event was going to happen. He said, Eric, I want you to check your coat in at the coat check room. So I said, how long is it going to be there? He said, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, really? I'm going to be out of here in 5 to 10 minutes? He said, yeah. So I checked my coat in, I put my little check coat thing in my pocket and said, okay, let's go see what's going to happen next. And he said, Eric, I want you to get a non-alcoholic drink, something with no alcohol. No problem. He said, but I want you to put a cherry and a lime and a little stirrer in it. Okay, so I got me a 7-Up, put a cherry in it, lime, everything you told me. He said, now I want you to look around the room. Who are the 3 most influential people, the leaders in the room? So I saw a division vice president, I saw an executive vice president, and kind of a regional manager who had a lot of influence. He said, now what I want you to do, I want you to go speak to each one of those people and not look like you're rushed or busy, but just have a conversation. I said, well, they're kind of important. He said, they don't really want to talk to you that much either, but they need to know that you were here. So I went by the first person, how are you, fine? And he actually was kind of friendly about the whole thing. Hey, you're here, how far do you have to drive to get back home when this is over? And had small talk that lasted about 45 seconds. Now the second executive, he was easy to talk to also. We chit-chatted for a few seconds, that was done. Now the third executive was over by the hors d'oeuvre table. And by the time I got over there, he told me what tasted best. Then my mentor said, look around the room and where are the 3 peers who have the biggest smiles where you work? I mean, the people that announce everything that they see, that you were here, what you did. So I found those people, told a couple of jokes, had some laughs, and when I looked at my watch, only 6 or 7 minutes had gone by. So then my mentor says, all right, look around like you're looking for the restroom. So I did. I looked around, and then when I stepped out into the foyer, my mentor was already there with his coat. He said, what took you so long? I pulled out my coat check, got my coat, and left. Just because you show up doesn't mean you have to stay there all night. Ask for bigger and better assignments. When a new project is announced, step up and ask for the lead role. Now the misstep here is that one of 2 things. You either expect it'll go to the usual person that gets put in charge of things anyway, or you wait and hope that you're going to be handpicked by your boss. Don't wait for somebody to be assigned or somebody else to take the lead. Speak up and step up to ensure you are getting more responsibility and more opportunity for positive exposure. Now, the risk here is to make sure that you know that you are absolutely capable of completing whatever assignment you ask for and doing it well. Tell your manager about your goals. Don't wait for your next performance review to discuss your goals with your boss. Schedule a meeting as soon as you can. Use the information that you're getting back from performance reviews and look at where you're going against the objectives that you've set for yourself. If you can schedule meetings on your manager's calendar, send the meeting request and include the meeting goal to discuss your career development. If you can't, send an email to your manager or get a brief hallway discussion to let them know, hey, I'd like to discuss my career goals as soon as it's convenient. As with any meeting, you need to prepare ahead of time in order to have a decent discussion. So picture, where do you want to be in your career in 12 months? Picture where you'd like to be in 5 years. Now look at the strengths that you have and how that will help you. Also look at the areas that you need to grow and develop in. Discuss these areas with your boss and ask what other areas they feel you need to improve in, where you need development. The critical goal of this first consultation with your boss should be an action plan. You want to leave there with something you can work on. So during the meeting, work with your manager to understand their expectations and ensure that they're connected and aligned with yours. Identify the areas for development, discuss assignments that you can get that would help you in development, training that you can go to that would help develop your weaknesses into strengths, and agree on some sort of feedback plan. So whether it's biannually or quarterly, the formal performance review, or a more informal weekly or monthly meeting. I like that one because I want to know what I'm doing at all times. Now, the work doesn't end when the meeting does. After the meeting, document the goals and action plans that you discussed at the meeting and share it with your manager for review and approval. Use that document as a roadmap for your future feedback sessions and update it as projects and goals and tasks change. Your manager may have shared your goals and action plans with HR after the meeting, but if he didn't, make sure it's included in your next performance review. Kind of a little document behind that one. Be sure to always look at it and measure it against your career objectives. Lastly, how can you establish a superior reputation? Help people. Science corroborates this. In a study from the University of Wisconsin, researchers found that those who help others are happier at work than those who don't prioritize helping others. So I challenge you to increase your positive exposure by increasing the number of people that you help. Let me share a verse where I believe we can be assured that our helping others won't be in vain. It's in Galatians 6:9. And it says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Now, I like the sound of that. Positive exposure and God's blessings. That's fantastic. Remember, you may be powerless over what they can do to you, but they are absolutely powerless over what God will do for you. Until next time, keep working the dream.